And museum owners, countryside campaigners and historical reenactment societies across the region say they're alarmed at a plan by the European Commission to change the law on firearms. The move comes after the recent terror attacks in France, but a number of organisations are warning it could affect them and how they earn their livings. This report from our political correspondent, Andrew Sinclair.
You've got your internal parts.
It's British engineering though, isn't it? That's what it is.
It's fantastic.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Richard Knight is a military historian in Norfolk and he's been collecting weapons for the last 30 years. He's one of many people worried about the proposed new law.
This ban will seriously affect everything I do. I specialise in visiting schools. I'm an educator. If you want a military historian to educate, you need these weapons here because these are the tools of my trade. So it will affect it seriously.
The Imperial War Museum at Duxford has expressed alarm. So too the region's many battle reenactment societies. Organisations which represent the countryside are also concerned. The crackdown follows last year's events in France. The gunmen who attacked the Charlie Hebdo magazine and the Bataclan Theatre used guns which should have either been decommissioned or which could only fire blanks. So the European Commission wants to make it much harder for people to own and sell such weapons. But it's the European Parliament which will have to approve the legislation, and MEPs have been bombarded with complaints.
It has come out in a very rushed mechanism. The wording is very, very unclear in places. There's a lot of different questions from museums, from collectors, from sports shooters, from those involved in pest control, for example. We need to work with the authorities to make sure the loopholes are closed, but we also need to get the language clear.
Vicky Ford has been asked by the Parliament to try to negotiate a compromise. Today in London, she met organisations concerned by the proposed new law.
In the wake, of course, of the sort of horrible events in Paris, I think it was natural that they're going to look at firearms laws, but I think there's been no real impact assessment undertaken, and I think really a good hard look at this is required, and I think that's what's taking place now, and Vicky's helping that greatly.
Back in Brussels, there is a feeling that this legislation has been rushed out very quickly and isn't perfect. But European governments are also very worried about terrorism. They want the new law in place soon. Historians like Mr. Knight hope a compromise can be found. Andrew Sinclair, BBC Look East.
Well, next, 3 young